from your moderator from Nigeria. Please, Ms. Victoria, can you introduce yourself to the house, please?
All right, thank you very much for having me. My name is Toluwanmi Victoria Olujobi, and I am the founder of Media and Information Literacy among young professionals. And what I stand for is advocating for media and information literacy and ensuring that everyone is informed in the digital space. So that's a brief introduction about myself. So every other person could also introduce themselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, other participants, please, can we know you? Please unmute and speak to us. Introduce yourself to us, your name and where you are joining us from. Quickly, please. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Stanislas Biramfai. I'm from Senegal. I teach English. I am interested in the integration of media and information literacy in foreign languages.
Okay. Great. It's good to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, other participants? Please, as soon as you introduce, help us to mute from your end so that we can hear other persons when they speak to us. Thank you. So the floor is still open. We're still welcoming our guests and audience. Please introduce yourself to us. Let us get to know you, your name and where you are joining us from.
Yes, Faith Olojobi, the project coordinator for media and information literacy among young professionals. Thank you.
Thank you. It's great for joining us. There's other participants. Please unmute and speak to us. There's a noise in the background. Please do well to mute from your end. Thank you. Yes, other participants, introduce yourself to us, please. The floor is still open. Name and where you are joining us from. Can you hear me, please? Okay, so in the absence of introductions, I would like to go by registering, acknowledging the presence of our participants, speakers and organizers here. We have Mr. Wallace Bichunge here. Are you with us, sir?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon from Nairobi, Kenya.
Good afternoon, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Pleasure is mine as well. Thank you so much, and congratulations on this particular event.
Thank you, sir. We equally have Abdullah Emiran here. We have Yashin John Peter. Thank you for joining us. We have Adriana Astro. Thank you for joining us. We have Dorina Rosu. There's also Festin Uzanaj. We have Hemadi Mora. We have Luigi Neti. Please pardon my pronunciation. I don't know. I'm just trying to get them across to the audience.
No problem. It's Furia.
Okay. We have
Nice being here.
Thank you. We have Ijoko Steven. We have the Fabile Sefes. Stanisla Paye. We have TJ's Vibe. We have Thomas. We have Ziljan We have Zinwe Mint. We have Nino Saleh. We have Mohammed. We have Luas Anu and other participants. You are welcome to this event, the second conference of media and information literacy among young professionals. So quickly, because of time, I want us to delve into taking the welcoming address by Mrs. Faith. Mrs. Faith, please, you have the floor to give your welcoming address. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is Mr. Dylan.
Yes.
I welcome all of us into this second international conference of MELAP. Our distinguished guests, the erudite speakers for today, Mr. Joan, Mr. Alex, Ms. Crosby, Ms. Toluwanimi, and our honorable ambassadors from various countries. I can see Mr. Patson and others on the platform already. Our partners, respected scholars, Mr. Oke, Mr. Onyedika, and the rest, the media professionals, the librarians, the students from various institutions, both in Nigeria here and across all our places where we have clubs in Sudan, in Morocco, in Sierra Leone, Cameroon, the community leaders and their participants are friends all over the world. It is with great pleasure and heartfelt enthusiasm that I welcome you all to the second international conference of MELAP, held under the timely and vital theme, Advancing Media and Information Literacy among Marginalized Communities and Intercultural Dialogue. Today, we gather not just as professionals or academics, but as allies in a shared mission to bridge gaps in access, equity, and voice. In an age where information flows faster than ever before, the ability to critically engage with media is not a privilege, it is a necessity for all. Yet, for many marginalized communities, especially in Africa, this fundamental literacy remains out of reach. This conference is a collective response to this challenge. Over the next few hours, we will engage in meaningful discussions, share groundbreaking research, and highlight stories of resilience and innovation. Our goal is to create pathways where knowledge meets inclusion, and where diverse cultural narratives can thrive without distortion or exclusion. This intercultural dialogue is more than a theme. It is a call to action. It reminds us that our differences are not barriers, but bridges, and that through understanding, collaboration, commitment, we can empower every voice to be heard. In the rural community, in the hamlets, in the cluster, in places where internet cannot be found. We need to understand these facts and respect every intercultural communities we find ourselves. Let us approach this conference with open minds, generous hearts, and the shared determination to make media and information literacy a tool for equity, empowerment, and social change. We really appreciate the visionary in person of Ms. Toluwanimi Victoria Olujobi in putting in place this conference. We say a big congratulations and thanks to her. Once again, I welcome you all to the second MELAP International Conference 2025. Let the conversation begin now. Thank you and God bless all. Over to you, Mr. Dillard, to continue.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bates, for the wonderful welcoming address. It's really an eye opener. I guess our audience are keen on knowing what comes next. It's a good thing to talk about media and information literacy because it is something that touches every sector of life. Yes, because information is key in every area of our life. So to quickly go on to the next, I would like to invite Ms. Rosie Kawala. Ms. Rosie Kawala, are you here with us? Okay, you're welcome on board, ma'am. I would like to leave the floor open, but before that, I would like to give a little citation about Ms. Rosie Kawala, and then you can begin. So, Ms. Rosie Kawala is a media literacy expert, a youth leadership specialist, and founder of the Center for Media Literacy and Community Development in Uganda. She is a team leader at the Digital Grassroots Hub, a social venture empowering rural youth in Uganda with skills in digital literacy, leadership, and innovation for employability in the digital world. Rosie has worked in the media and civil society sector for over 15 years, supporting young people, women, and grassroots communities to appreciate and use media effectively. She is an alumnus of several professional programs, including the African School on Internet Governance, AFISIC, IREX Community Solutions Program, the International Training Program on Media Development, and Mozilla Open Leaders, among others. Rosie was a 2023 nominee in the Uganda-US Exchange Program's Alumni Impact Awards and an award recipient in the 2023 Most Outstanding Women in Media in the Innovation category. Uganda. Hello, please, can you mute? So, Rosie is currently engaged as an international volunteer at the World University Service of Canada, and based in Malawi. So this is the person that is going to be talking to us. She's going to be giving a keynote speech, and would like to hand over the floor to Yuma to lead us through. Thank you. Ms. Kawala.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope that I'm clear and loud.
Yes, you are.
All right, thank you. But I would also make a kind request for mute their microphones if they're not speaking, because there's a lot of feedback coming in from
Please, sorry, excuse me, respected participant, please, can you kindly mute your devices? Please mute so that we can listen to our speaker. When it is time, we can unmute and speak to us, please. Can we all mute our microphone? Thank you. Yes, you have the floor now.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon from Malawi, where I am. It is now 1:16 p.m. So I'm really deeply honored to be here today addressing this gathering. I've been told in the audience we have students, we have young professionals, we have academics, and of course, advocates committed to media and information literacy. So when I received the invitation to deliver this keynote, one quote immediately came to mind. In the age of information, ignorance is a choice. And that quote was by Donnie Miller. But for millions across Africa's marginalized communities, ignorance is not a choice. It is an imposed reality. It is shaped by limited access to credible information,
poor digital infrastructure, linguistic exclusion, and often by systemic neglect. Today, as we reflect on advancing media and information literacy among marginalized communities and intercultural dialogue, I invite you to journey with me into the realities, challenges, and possibilities of empowering Africa's most underserved voices in an ever-evolving digital world. Let us first pause to understand who we are talking about when we say marginalized communities. These are not abstract terms, they are real people. The young girl in Karamoja from Uganda, where I come from, whose only access to news is a battery-powered radio. The refugee boy in Kakuma, Kenya, who learns about the world through forwarded WhatsApp videos. This could be an indigenous community in Namibia that speaks a language without digital media and information literacy resources. The woman farmer in Malawi, where I am, who receives health information only through word of mouth. Across Africa, these groups face deep inequalities in accessing, understanding, and creating information. Consider these realities. When we talk about the digital divide, as of 2024, only 36% of people in sub-Saharan Africa have access to the internet. There is language exclusion, where we have over 2,000 languages across the continent, yet most media and information literacy content remains in English or French or other languages. Talk of misinformation. A 2023 UNESCO study found that less than 20% of young people in West Africa, where you are based right now, could reliably distinguish fact from fake news online. When people cannot access reliable information or critically engage with media, they become vulnerable to manipulation, whether through political propaganda, health misinformation, or economic exploitation. Media and information literacy is not just about knowing how to use media. It is about knowing why information matters and how it shapes power, opportunities, and freedoms. According to UNESCO, media and information literacy is the ability to access, analyze, evaluate, and create media in various forms. But in Africa, media and information literacy goes even deeper. It is about empowerment, where it gives people tools to question narratives and demand accountability. It is about representation, allowing marginalized voices to tell their own stories. It is about participation, ensuring everyone, regardless of background, can influence policies and shape society. Think about community radios in very many of our African countries. Cameroon, Uganda, Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania. These radio stations use local languages to debunk health misinformation. Or it could be a fact-checking initiative in one of our countries that train university students to combat fake news. Or recently I read about web rangers in South Africa, where children learn digital citizenship by monitoring online content. These examples show us one truth. When people are media literate, they are harder to silence, manipulate, or ignore. How then do we practically advance media and information literacy across Africa's underserved populations? From my work, when you're introducing, you said, I'm a director at the Center for Media Literacy and Community Development in Uganda. But from my work and through our collaborations with the various development partners and local players, I've seen several strategies that work, and that maybe we could see how best to maneuver. The first is to localize media and information literacy content. We could translate materials into local languages to break linguistic barriers. We could use culturally relevant stories, from analyzing local radio dramas to debunking WhatsApp rumors about elections or vaccines. We could also engage community influencers, faith leaders, and storytellers, people who already have the community's trust. But apart from that, we could also leverage community media, strengthen community radios. Right now, I'm seated at a radio station called Timven. Timven is a local radio station here in Malawi. These are some of the platforms that we could use that are widely accessed in our rural Africa. We could also create student-run shows where young people report on local issues, or use SMS-based alerts and WhatsApp groups to reach populations with limited internet. Let's also support and build youth-led media and information literacy movements. Movements like media clubs in schools and universities, where learners analyze, debunk, and create content. We could train media and information literacy champions who take these skills back to their communities, and also support peer-to-peer learning, letting young people teach each other through platforms they already trust. The other big thing that we could take forward is to integrate media and information literacy into education and community life. We have to advocate for national media and information literacy policies that make media and information literacy a core part of the curriculum. Rwanda and South Africa are leading examples here. We could train teachers and librarians to confidently guide students through the digital information landscape and offer community workshops for parents, grassroots leaders, and refugees, bridging intergenerational digital divides. Right now, we also talk about technology, and it's important for us to harness technology creatively and responsibly. There are a number of free fact-checking tools, like maybe Google reverse image search, Africa Check, but we could also invest in edutainment, from short TikTok explainers to podcast storytelling that speaks to young audiences. When we do this, we promote digital safety and ethics, teach communities to protect privacy, resist cyberbullying, and verify before sharing. Our theme today reminds us that this is not just about teaching skills, but it's about building bridges. Africa is home to over 3,000 ethnic groups, and a host of cultures. Intercultural dialogue ensures media and information literacy respects these differences rather than overriding them. During Sierra Leone's Ebola response, for example, healthy campaigns only became effective when traditional leaders, faith networks, and youth storytellers were integrated into the process. Media and information literacy must listen before it teaches. It must collaborate before it informs, and it must empower communities to define their narratives, not just consume ours. I would like to leave you with this thought. When marginalized voices are empowered to access, analyze, and create information, societies thrive. To achieve this, the academia must research what works and measure impact. Policymakers must invest in infrastructure and policies that close the digital divide. Young professionals, like some of you, and students must lead peer-to-peer media and information literacy advocacy in both physical and digital spaces. And communities must be seen not as recipients, but as co-creators in shaping Africa's media future. Advancing media and information literacy is more than a goal. It is a movement for equity, for inclusion, and for voices that matter. I thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Prosi Kawala from Uganda. Of course, this is an MIL expert, and we've listened to her. give a keynote speech. And I think for me, just like every other person here, it is a great exposition into media and information literacy. She's been able to tell us what is happening from our own region concerning media and information literacy, steps that are being taken, moves that are being made to ensure that everyone is carried along in this, because media and information literacy is like a movement already. And that is what MILAP is after, and that is why we're here, of course. So thank you very much again, Ms. Prosi, for the wonderful delivery. We appreciate you. I believe our audiences are listening. Hello, are you with me?
Yes,
yes, I'm with you.
Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you for your patience. So now, because of time, we're going to move to the next speaker, our very first speaker for today. Having listened to the keynote speech. All right. So I would like to introduce to the audience. Excuse me, please. I'd like to introduce to the audience our first speaker, who is going to be taking us on the role of libraries and community information centers in expanding media and information literacy access. He's not other person but Mr. Juha Maninen. Mr. Juha Maninen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you, sir.
We can hear you clearly.
Thank you.
Yes,
so
we can hear you,
yes,
sir.
So, Mr. Juha, before you take us through, I would like to give a little citation so that our audience can know who you are and what you're going to be taking us through on.
Yes.
So, Mr. Juha Maninen serves as the Executive Director of the Finnish Library Association since 2002. He has extensive hands-on experience in the field, having held numerous positions at the Turku City Library over 2 decades. He advocated in Finnish Library Association 2012 to 2019 and is a member of IFLA Public Library Section from 2021 to 2025. And in August 2025, we will begin a 4-year term in IFLA, Management of Library Associations, and was also elected as Section Secretary. He is a collaborator of Public Libraries 2030. He was a member in Finnish Library Act Revision Working Group in 2015. He has had numerous international presentations, which includes public libraries and freedom of speech, opening words of Nordic Caucus, IFLA WLIC Athens 2019. Another of his presentation is Public Libraries in Finland, Basics and Practices in Design and Development of Public Library Service Conference, IFLA MENA 2022. Another is Libraries Building Communities for 2040 in Modern Competencies for Users and Librarians. Snapshots from Librarian Education and Library Practice, Budapest, Hungary 2023. This few among many presentations that he has had to engage audiences. So today we have him here to speak to us as our first speaker on the role of libraries and community information centers in expanding media and information literacy access. Remember, this is an intercultural dialogue, so we are going to be listening to perspectives, just like our earlier speaker, our keynotes, that gave us a keynote speech, talked about her own end of experience. So, Mr. Juha Maninen, sir, you have the floor to speak to us and give us your perspective of media and information literacy. We have our pen and our notepads ready to note what you're going to be telling us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I'd like to share my screen, if it's okay for you, or, oh, I suppose someone is already sharing it for me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if I ask you to change the slides for me, will that be okay?
Yes, sir. We should be able to do that.
Yeah, so yeah, I will tell you when to change the next slide. Thank you so much. It's so, this is so convenient for me.
All right.
So, dear colleagues and new professionals, emerging library leaders of the future, good afternoon from Helsinki, Finland. I want to thank Ms. Toluvanimi Victoria Olujobi from the kind invitation to this webinar, and I am honored to have the opportunity to share some information about Finnish public libraries, their tasks and operations, and how they are, from their part, tackling disinformation and misinformation. As a librarian, I can't imagine a mission more noble than yours to foster a generation of informed individuals who can navigate the complex landscape of digital media with confidence and integrity. For my presentation, basically, almost everything I speak is obviously of Finnish context, but I try to give examples.
Can we mute, please? Can we mute our microphones, please, to enable us here as speaker? Please, let us mute our...
Okay, thank you. So for my presentation, basically everything I speak is of Finnish context, but I try to give examples that can be scaled worldwide, and I try to give proof of need of media literacy through these examples of library use here in my home country. Next slide, please. Thank you. Yeah, and here is another brief introduction about myself. I started my library career as a library assistant in a summer job in the mid-1990s. So I have been working for libraries for 30 years now. And I had 5 different posts in Turku City Library. Turku is a city in southwest Finland. It has roughly 230,000 inhabitants. And its main library was the busiest one in the country until the new central library Oodi was opened in our capital, Helsinki. I have also worked as a mobile librarian in a mobile library and ended up managing 2 departments in the main library in Turku City. And when I had worked around 10 years in the profession, I started to pay attention to nationwide and also international cooperation and got interested in volunteering in Finnish Library Association first. And at first I was a member in Mobile Library Special Interest Group and later a board member and vice president of our domestic national association. And now I have been working as executive director or secretary general in Anglo-American language for 3.5 years, and my main duty is advocacy work for libraries. And yeah, next slide, please. Yes, thank you. Briefly, some information about our country, Finland. We are a sparsely populated country. It's 6th by area in Europe, but only 26th by population. And Europe has roughly 50 countries, so we are like a very big country by land, but below the average by population. And yes, Finnish land area is one of the biggest in Europe, as said. We gained our independence in 1917, first being ruled by Sweden for 700 years, and then roughly 100 years by Russia. And together with the independence grew up the idea of literacy and popular education. That popular education is a Finnish tradition of civic and community-based learning that promotes general knowledge, active citizenship, and equal access to education outside the formal school system. So first of our public libraries were established in 1860s around. And these facts about us, 5.6 million inhabitants. Swedish is an official minority language, and we also are home to the Sami people, the only indigenous people in Europe, and Norway and Sweden share this some home for Sami people. Finland ranks first in the world in the popularity of libraries. More than 60% of our residents visited a public library last year. And also in 2024, there were a total of 706 libraries, 118 mobile libraries, and 3,700 person years at work in Finland. And as the number of libraries is a bit over 700, we are a country of 300 municipalities. So there are big municipalities with more than 10 libraries and also some small municipalities with only one library. It varies a lot. Libraries are completely free in Finland to use. And public libraries are highly networked and collaborate a lot with each other. The success of the last few years is one example is a joint national e-library that is now up and running. And Finnish Library Association played a remarkable role in efforts to have this national e-library established. And we also want to make Finland the most literate country in the world by 2030. Finland has a national literacy strategy. It was approved 5 years ago. And also the role of libraries in democratic work has strengthened in recent years due to our library legislation. Next slide, please. Thank you. And here is described the system we are operating in our society when it comes to libraries. Public research and national library, they are not subject to another or on an administrational basis, but practically they have many operational cooperated functions and programs. The Ministry of Education and Culture coordinates all of them. And those blue ellipses, they describe the NGOs working in Finland, so that means the associations. And we have a small association for Finland's Swedish libraries, as we have some concentration of Swedish-speaking people especially in the southwest coast of Finland. And also there is an association for Finnish research libraries, as they have an official role as a publisher. But we are the biggest association in country. And all these associations do advocacy work and promote the role of libraries from their own point of view, and everyone is able to, anyone can join. Thank you. And next slide, please. Yeah. Ministry of Education and Culture gives the library guidelines and prepares them as a national library policy. And it also gives the budget proposal for its administrative sector and library legislation for parliamentary decision. So we are lucky to have a library legislation here. The ministry grants subsidies for library development and participates in efforts to better utilize shared information resources. In the ministry, the matters concerning public libraries, they fall under the Department for Cultural and Art Policy, while issues related to scientific libraries belong to the Department for Higher Education and Science Policy. But what is important is that in general, public libraries are funded by each individual municipality, and this is established by legislation. Next slide, please. And here are some key statistics from last year. They are published by ministry, collected by regional administration. And yes, the last one there, the library costs per capita. We are aware that Finland is a Nordic country, and these figures can't necessarily be compared in other countries. For example, Netherlands in Western Europe, the cost per library costs per year per resident is there like maybe 40 euros per year. So all the Nordic countries, they invest quite a lot in public libraries. And next slide, please. Yeah, libraries, they are a favorite municipal service. Thus, the role of libraries has changed also in Finland, as access to internet is available and it's relatively cheap. But libraries are still respected and very widely used. The number of reference inquiries has decreased, and so are the investments for non-fiction collections. But in the same time, libraries have been, from the beginning of so-called internet era, places where people are guided to use digital devices and also helped to use web-based services for our society. And yes, libraries receive the highest ratings for satisfaction and availability and accessibility. This is done by Finnish local government survey every year, and it namely highlights that library services are particularly valued by our residents. Next slide, please. A country doesn't necessarily have a library legislation, and example from relatively near from here, pretty close from here, is Germany, that doesn't have a national library legislation, but all Nordic countries, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland have their own library legislation. But a library system in a country, it still can follow the principles and build up principles that might be alike, like legislation, and to make guidelines that libraries can follow. So here are the examples of the facts of our legislation. The segregation of municipalities affects it a lot. We had a game changer project called Libraries as Forums of Democracy a few years ago. And then libraries started to arrange forums to politics and citizens in the run-up to the elections. And this all is to aim that libraries could promote active citizenship to everyone living in Finland. And libraries and librarians also learn and practice dialogue-based time-out method, which can be explained later in the link. And yes, libraries run a variety of critical media literacy trainings and infos for user. This all aims to make citizens more prepared to recognize disinformation and get immune to harmful influence. And the object of our Library Act is to promote equal opportunities for the population in education and culture, and to promote access to and use of information. And what is important in the context we are now gathered here is to promote reading culture and diverse literacy skills. Next objective is to promote opportunities for lifelong learning and skills development, to promote active citizenship, democracy, and freedom of expression. And to achieve these objectives, the principles are community, pluralism, and cultural diversity. Next slide, please. And here are listed the tasks that our public libraries have. And thus they are all noble and important, of course, but it doesn't necessarily match to great extent what a single public library can do. In a city that may suffer from emigration, unemployment, fewer taxpayers, emptying schools, people moving away. In a national report from 2022, practically half of our libraries, that means municipal libraries, had difficulties executing their tasks. So these are in the same context that these tasks are given to public libraries, they also face difficulties. And as said in the blue circle there, 2022, half of our libraries had difficulties in executing this. Next slide, please. And now we come to more concerns and challenges. Finland, that was absolutely 100% literate country for decades. It now faces growing illiteracy, especially among teenage boys and young male adults. They are not categorized as totally illiterate, but they have difficulties in reading and understanding written text. And as media consumption concentrates to short videos, for example, in TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, such medias, the harder it gets to attempt these people to read only texts, as you might imagine. You know this very well. And as reading segregates the people who would benefit from reading most, they are the very same people who don't read. And that's why our libraries should aim their efforts more to vulnerable, not so easy achievable groups. Next slide, please. This is just a quick explanation that in the same time it gets more and more difficult to maintain any kind of quality services in some areas of our country. You can see here the map of Finland, and each colored area represents 1/4 of our population. So in the very south, there is the gray spot, that means Helsinki and metropole area. There is 1/4 of our population. And then again, the pink area, which is most of our land area, there is only 1/4 of our population. So the north and the east, they lose lots of their inhabitants to south and west. And if part of a country, a region, a municipality, if there are fewer people, there are fewer businesses, there are fewer taxpayers, and fewer public services, fewer schools, for example. So this also gives a big challenge to our society and also to run library services. Next slide, please. Yes, and now I will remain here for a while. And now we are coming to the part where I'm talking about to go deeper into topic. So what is reimagining libraries in the age of AI, and what is the access to information literacy in age of artificial intelligence? And I try to reflect this to the IFLA, the World International Federation of Library Association Trend Report. So for some library professionals, this new phase that we are in, it can mean change in the work. It can mean change in cataloging. For some library professionals, it can mean change in the reference work. And can libraries have the ownership for their metadata, for example, or can they have the ownership for their bibliographic control? As you know, disinformation, misinformation, and hate speech, they know no borders. And the 7 key trends of the IFLA trend reports are: knowledge practices are changing, AI and other technologies are transforming the society, trust is being renegotiated, skills and abilities are becoming more complex, digital technologies are unevenly distributed, information systems are using more resources, and also people are seeking community connections. Especially, you could say in Europe, for example, loneliness is a growing problem, and people living alone and feeling loneliness is a societal disease, you could say. So to help libraries to survive and to prosper in age of artificial intelligence, our leaders must move beyond management. They must embrace agility, empathy, and innovation. Libraries should be independent. They should be pluralistic spaces defending equity and civic engagement. And libraries must defend the academic freedom, access to information, and resist the censorship. Libraries must reflect to diversity in their community, in collections, spaces, and services. They have a role in dialogue, critical debate, and collaboration. Libraries must navigate ethical, legal, and sustainable way in challenges of generative artificial intelligence. Libraries must build partnerships that would strengthen their capacity, knowledge sharing, resilience, and because this is a resource-limited environment, and using AI, using all digital services, they require more and more resources. Libraries are the ones that can give it to community with limited resources. So in our era, increasingly defined by social and geopolitical polarization, financial instabilities, and shifting cultural policies, the responsibilities of library leaders have become both more visible and more challenging. And by library leaders, I don't necessarily mean the directors or the managers, but I mean the change agents and new professionals such as you who are ready to defend their mission. Libraries need to navigate the increasingly complex intersections of academic freedom, freedom of speech, and the management of contested spaces and collections. These complexities call for vision and clarity to restate and communicate the values of research libraries, for example. I am aware of the challenges and difficulties libraries face when they are located in a country that has problems such as lack of financial resources, or even more difficulties, even tragic ones, such as countries facing war, for example. To explore the key areas for collaboration that can help the sector to thrive and achieve excellence. So, as greetings from the recent World Library and Information Congress held last week in Astana, Kazakhstan. According to a recent survey conducted by the National Library of Kazakhstan, the majority of the country's population used social media as their main source of information. That means TikTok and YouTube. The coronavirus pandemic also brought about something good, but it was temporary. Truth returned to the media environment for a short time. Social media cleaned up its content. This has been noted in an analysis by the Reuters Institute as well. So libraries are the places where one can get trusted and researched information. As technology companies and social media platforms, they have reduced their fact-checking. The danger of increasing misinformation and manipulation is obvious. Libraries have the opportunity to help people with fact-checking if they can get people to take a more measured approach. So it is advisable for ordinary people as well as librarians to bookmark their internet browser and add reliable fact-checking media outlets from authentic research institutions. So this was like you could say very essential part, I think. So next slide, please. Here you can find some sources and further reading about things I just talked about, and you will. I think that people who are now participating in this webinar, I sent Victoria Olujobi my presentation, so it can be shared, but not outside this group, but within the participants. It will be okay. And I asked to mention Finnish Library Association and my presentation if referred. So next slide, please. Here is this is something that I wanted to add in the end. And wanted to as a wrap up to say that the libraries, they need not only to maintain the appreciation and daily proof of their value, but also increase the awareness and acceptance of their widened tasks in society. Yeah, and the next slide, please. So, thank you. This would be my presentation, and I know that there is a question and answer section in the end, but as I was given 40 minutes to my presentation, if it's okay with the hosts, if someone has something to ask, please write it in a chat, for example, and I can try to answer. Or if you wish to ask something later, that's also possible. So thank you very much for the invitation and listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maninen Juha from Finland. Thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. It's indeed a great one, and I believe the audience, people are actually following up, and we are gaining more insight into MIL. We thank you very much. If we can, please appreciate him by using the emoji to appreciate our first speaker. So while we're at it, and thank you also, Mr. Juha, for how well you have been able to manage time. We appreciate that, sir. Hello? Okay. So, quickly, before we go on to the next, before we invite our second speaker to take us through, I would like to give a little brief. Before that, I'd like to tell us that there's going to be a question and answer session after the presentations, please. So please kindly note your questions while the presentations are ongoing. And then when it is time, we'll give you the floor to ask your questions, and the answers will be provided by our speakers. All right, thank you. So before that, I want to quickly, are you with me, please? Hello?
Yes, we are with.
Okay. I also want to acknowledge our audiences again, once again. I want us to know that we have people joining us from places from around the world, just like Mr. Juha from Finland has just spoken to us, and our keynote speaker, Ms. Prozikawala, who is joining us from Uganda, and the members of MILAP that are joining us from other countries, apart from Nigeria. We have those joining us from other countries. We have students here from Nigeria. Some of them are from the ATVU program at Bukar Tafawa Balewa University in Nigeria. Some are from the University of Abuja. We have very distinguished educators here with us too, present. So this is just to acknowledge your presence here. So before we move on to the next, please, excuse me, please. Okay. So I want to give us a little brief of MILAB for those of us that joined late, before we move on to the next. Because some of our participants here may want to know what the organizers of this conference, MILAB. So I just want to give us a little brief of MILAB. This is an idea, a movement that is championed by Ms. Tolu Wanini Victoria Olujobi, who is a passionate advocate for media and information literacy, and the founder of the Media and Information Literacy among young professionals in Nigeria, which is an initiative that's equipping youth with skills to critically access, evaluate, and create information. So about MILAP, MILAP, which is Media and Information Literacy among young professionals, is a registered organization in Nigeria with the headquarters in Abuja, the capital of Nigeria. The organization has a legal identity and is fully incorporated by the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, in Nigeria, with a commitment to combating the spread of fake news and misinformation, which is now becoming a global concern, especially in this part of the world. We are equally registered member of UNESCO, that is the UNESCO MIL Alliance. As an organization, we operate in university campuses across 5 countries, namely Nigeria, Sudan, Cameroon, Bangladesh, and Sierra Leone. So through educational initiatives, workshops, and campaigns, MILAP has been able to equip young professionals, librarians, media practitioners, journalists, and the general public at large with the skills to critically evaluate media sources, discern fact from fiction, and responsibly share information. So the mission of MILAP is to foster a generation of informed individuals who can navigate the complex landscape of digital media with confidence and integrity. So MILAP is an organization focused on advancing the cause of MIL in 4 key specific areas. 1, freedom of expression and access to information. 2, self-awareness. 3, solidarity and peace. 4, respect for cultural diversity. Which is something, the last one there is something that borders a little on what we are here to discuss today, talking about the intercultural dialogue. So we're respecting the perspectives of advocates from different regions of the world. So the key specific objectives here are freedom of expression and access to information. Second objective, self-awareness. Third, solidarity and peace, and then the respect for cultural diversity. So I would like to now call on our next speaker to take us through on cultivating culturally inclusive media and information literacy strategies for indigenous and rural communities. So our speaker for this time is no other person but Mr. Wallace Gichunge. Mr. Wallace Gichunge. So Mr. Wallace Gichunge is a founding director. Sir, Mr. Wallace, are you here, sir? Can you hear me?
Yes, very much here.
Okay, so let me give a little citation before you take us through, sir. So Mr. Wallace Gichunge is the founding director of the Nairobi-based Center for Media and Information Literacy in Kenya. So he's joining us from Kenya. He's a global consultant and resource person on media and information literacy for UNESCO, DW, Academia and Africa Union Commission, DCN Global, among other organizations. Mr. Gichunge has participated in research on misinformation in Africa with publications as contributing writer by University of Westminster, London, University of Sao Paulo, Brazil, and DW Academia reports on media and information literacy. Mr. Gichunge is the immediate former Africa region representative to the UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Alliance International Steering Committee. So his interests are in media and information literacy and its implications on democracy, climate and health awareness, civic engagement, governance, and development. So Gichunge is a media and communications practitioner with over 17 years experience in private and public institutions. He holds a Bachelor of Education from the University of Kenyatta University, and Master of Arts in Communication Studies from the University of Nairobi, Kenya. He has taught journalism, mass communication, and public relations in local universities and government institutes in Kenya. So I would like to invite Mr. Wallace once again to speak to us on cultivating culturally inclusive MIL strategies for indigenous and rural communities. You have the floor, sir. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the insights you have come to share with us.
Thank you for that great introduction. I'm back to Nigeria again online. I was there again on Saturday last week on Transit for another forum, and I like the way Nigeria has taken a great strides in terms of organizing discussions around thematic issues around media and information literacy. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Interesting. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Yes, so now with your permission, I would like to play this video. Let me see if it is. Can you see it on your screen? Thank you so much. I don't know. Sorry. I need to stop that. Ad. Now, you have seen that?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
You see the picture.
You've seen that video. Okay, now I'm getting back to the slide. Let me see the slide first, then I start speaking about that video. So I still want to share. I'm looking for share screen. This one. Share. Okay. Please confirm that you can hear me, Bilal.
Yes, sir. I can hear
Thank you so
sir.
much. Also confirm that you've seen that short video. Has it been shared?
Yes, yes. The video of
So
Chaba and yes,
Chaba, exactly. Now, you are initiated around that content. So I hope the rest of you guys know about that guy called Chaba. When we talk about indigenous communities, we are describing people like those ones. Now imagine doing media and information literacy for Chaba and his community, and many others like that, which appear in Africa. So there's a dilemma here, because number one, UNESCO likes to preserve those cultures unadulterated, probably unpolluted by the digital intrusion that as we know it. Our lives are no longer the same because we have both physical lives that we live and the online lives, and with so many disruptions in between. So would you like to do mail for Chaba? And like you see them on TikTok and other social media outlets, is it their own content or someone else is using them to use them to create content? So basically, Chaba being an individual from a tribe called Azabe from Tanzania, and you can see they are renowned for their traditional ways of life. And who are they? Basically, they are, he acts a lot of times in those clips with the tribe named Dudukwe. And then they are basically hunters and gatherers. And they are the last of the remaining hunter and gatherer tribes in the world, known for their traditional lifestyle. So you can imagine those guys living their natural and unadulterated life the way it was, I don't know how many years back. Then they are found around Lake Eyasi in northern Tanzania. And in their culture, they are known for shunning material possessions and social hierarchies, including, I don't think, they also, apart from the two and the few of them who participate in those contents, they are not really in the digital world. So when we talk about indigenous and rural communities, the rural communities is not so much, but especially the indigenous communities. Okay. So the background and context, we are talking about social cultural context, which refers to the influence of social and cultural factors on individuals' thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
Who is into zero?
Someone is speaking.
Can we mute please? We mute our microphone, please.
Thank you. So in this case, the gist of this particular presentation is the need for recognition of considering societal and cultural norms and values, expectations, etc., before we do an intervention like a media information. So cultural inclusivity is the practice of including members of all cultures in the design and delivery of services, programs, and activities. You can imagine now if you want to do a meal intervention for a rural community, a non-rural community would have people like you and me when you're visiting, and other people who are not so digitally inaccessible. But you can have indigenous ones like this one. That noise still there. So why should we do media and information literacy for such communities? Because it empowers the vulnerable populations to, for example, the indigenous communities. Okay, I think people are now muted. So media information literacy is also important for these communities because as it is, gradually they will graduate into the digital world. And as you can see about Chaba and his friend there, probably they are being misused for purpose. Someone might be making money using them. All right. So they need to know when they are being used, for example. They need to know when they are transiting from their traditional lives and getting into the digital world. and also they can use their information literacy to promote their, the preservation of their culture, and also to get into digital inclusion. All right. So there are quite a number of there's a scenario around digital rather vulnerable populations and indigenous communities like that one. They face unique challenges in terms of digital inclusion, as I mentioned. Of course, there's no access. You can see those guys are in the bush. There's no digital infrastructure for them. Probably they don't even make calls. So they're using traditional methods of communication, and they don't care about whether there's network or not. They don't have phones. They are just there. Then life in the rural, now we are talking about the normal rural areas. There are far-flung places where internet connectivity is lacking, and so they are also lacking in terms of digital information access due to, as I've mentioned, no infrastructure. Further, they also face limited digital literacy due to unsupported socioeconomic factors that hinder them from availing technology, which would enable them to practice meal. I don't think Chaba and his friend and his community, there are schools there and other things that formalize lives for the rest of us. Then this may not appear as a problem to them. And this is where the dilemma now is. Should we maintain these guys the way they are, or should we actually digitalize them so that they are also part of the mediatized world? Because when you look at what we talk about, well, those people who were not available during the digital transformation as we know it today, we find that they might have missed a lot in terms of connectivity and even the kind of freedom of expression that social media and other platforms give us. You know, the levels of participation and civic engagement, and also being able to live quality lives. So would you say the indigenous communities are lacking? Up to you. I think the jury is still out there, but in most cases, we feel that people living like that are not living a quality life. The debate is still on what quality life is. So as I've mentioned, the challenges are digital divide, the cultural barriers, and of course, the educational gaps. The fact that they are invested in all these, especially and may we take note that there's a difference between a rural community, as we know it, and an indigenous community. Indigenous community is actually those people who are having at the very basics, the Adam and Eve, who are still here with us today. So, like I've mentioned, media and information literacy is a powerful tool for indigenous communities because it does not only ensure the reaping of the benefits of digital access, it also enables entire communities to thrive in the digital age. So you are me, we have when you are preparing programs for them, we need to understand what are their digital needs, for example, or what levels of digital age should we engage them in. Because like this, even in this call, we are talking about the keynote speaker spoke about the need for media information literacy. Today, we have seen that it has grown from mere theoreticals to we are now considering even the very, very marginalized people in our communities. We are talking about some very advanced places like Finland, where libraries are still king, and Africa, we still have radio as king. And I think my friend Alexander, when he comes, he'll be talking about artificial intelligence, which to me does not apply to Chaba and the other indigenous communities, because for them, they are dealing with the very basics of what entails media and information literacy. So that's why we're saying here, for indigenous communities and rural communities, MIL offers a pathway to preserve their cultural heritage, promote their languages, and also ensure their voices are heard in the media. Why media and information literacy is a clarion call for all of us is because we know that we are in a mediatized world. Today, like we normally say, when a child is born, just hours after birth, some of them are even recorded as they come out of their mothers. So their digital footprint begins immediately until they exit the world. But then there are others, like we have seen, who are excluded from this mediatized world. They may be few and far between, but they are also members of our community And that's why we need to understand how we need to incorporate them as we do media by all for all. So to address this, we are talking about tailoring the meal programs for indigenous communities. I've really dwelled on the indigenous communities more than the other rural communities, because rural communities are they're not homogenic, they are heterogeneous, and of course with a lot of other dynamics in between. So where you may find the youth, you may find the women, you may find other demographics that require certain interventions. But for indigenous communities, and speaking very generally, we can incorporate indigenous languages. We know that the language of IT, the language of media, is mostly the language that we inherited from the colonialists. It is said that English is the language of the internet, but thanks to translations and even machine learning, we are now able to translate even other languages that are indigenous to us. So it is possible to teach machines to probably change or rather translate some of these basic messages on mail and the programs into languages that are acceptable or rather understandable by majority of populations who do not speak the languages we are speaking here today. Then community involvement, talking about involving indigenous leaders, elders, etc., in development and implementation of such programs. Of course, some of the entry levels for communities like these ones, if they are cohesive, is there are hierarchies. We mentioned that sometimes some of them may not have hierarchies, but opinion leaders like elders are always an entry point for indigenous communities and rural communities, for that matter. When you look at even the themes in the Nollywood movies and films, you'll find that elders play a big part, and it's like that across the world. When you read novels about Africa and the way of life, we know that elders play a critical role in accessing rural communities, even when people are doing their cultural and social engagements. So elders must be involved for you to be able to get into those communities and have some impact. Then, of course, the recognition of cultural values and cultural sensitivity. Remember, some of these people are really custodians of their cultures, and that's why they are there even today. They are persevered up to today because they are unadulterated. They are not changing. So you need to have a lot of cultural sensitivity if you are going to have any meal program destined for these people. This includes traditions, languages, their belief systems, etc. So ensure that your programs that you are doing are reflecting and respecting the indigenous cultures. I've talked about knowledge co-creation, where you involve all the hierarchies and opinion leaders in that community. Talking about protecting indigenous knowledge. Part of why we preserve these communities is because the knowledge that is probably preserved orally gets eroded as the older people exit the world. So there is need for probably even meal programs that are able to create a database of what indigenous knowledge for various communities are, so that we are able to archive them, and we are not going to lose them or lose them to extinction. Then, of course, the investment in these communities, there should be special programs to invest in these communities. For example, now if people have decided to live in a forest, there could be innovative ways of having digital access. I would say even the people who are filming Kinachaba and Dudukwe, they could be among pioneers of the guys who are bringing to them modernity as it is. But there can be an innovative way of preserving that culture, even as we join them into the digital world. So in conclusion, meal is essential to empower indigenous communities by enhancing their ability to navigate the digital world safely and responsibly. And tailored meal programs can address the unique challenges and the crucial for promoting their cultural preservation, community engagement, and social inclusion. Again, I'll throw the ball back to you, audiences, and my listeners. Are we better off with these people digitized like the rest of us, or pure from a digital disruption. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. We really appreciate the insights you shared with us, particularly about the Hadzabe tribe of Tanzania. It's Wallis. Personally, from the beginning, when it started, I was captivated by the leadership. I was really looking forward to hearing more about it. Honestly, we did just think that let us understand that it's a need to have an inclusive mind for regardless of location, regardless of religion, regardless of civilization and experience. Thank you so much for that. You know, listener, audience, have a lot of questions. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, please?
Mr. Aram, the sound is really, I cannot hear you properly. I think there are some noise on the background. We cannot hear you very well.
Okay. Can you hear me now, sir? Alexander, can you hear me? Victoria.
I can hear you, but faintly. There is some background noise.
Okay, I think you should. I know you from another participant. Can we please mute? So, can you hear me now? Is it better now?
A little bit better, but not that well.
All right. I'll suggest that Alex should take over because we can't hear you, Dila.
Really?
Okay, so please, if you can hear me, let Mr. Alex, Alexander, speak to us. You can hear.
May I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aram. Thank you, Victoria, for the invitation for this amazing international conference. I'm hearing some noisy on the background, so I don't know if. Yeah, now it's good. Sorry, Mr. Aram, because I could not understand if you introduced me or not. But I'm going to start my presentation right now. Victoria, Mrs. Olujobi, thank you so much for the invitation. And do I have 30 minutes? Is that right? Just for me to confirm.
Yes, you do have 30 minutes, and it's wonderful seeing you again, Alex.
Yes, very happy to see you. So 30 minutes of presentation, yeah? Is that right?
Yeah, yes, you have 30 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. So I will share my presentation here and start with you. So, can you see it? Yes? Can you see the
Yes,
presentation?
I can see it.
Okay,
yes,
great,
I can
great.
see it.
So the invitation was about to talk about the harnessing artificial intelligence to bridge media and information literacy gaps. So I'll try to go a little bit further and try to talk and to explain why do why it's very important now for media and information literacy to embrace the issue of artificial intelligence, not only because of the ethical impacts the artificial intelligence is bringing to us, but also because artificial intelligence is a new way of mediating the world, using the term, the concept that Mr. McLuhan has constructed last century of mediation, communication and mediation, this relation. We have a new mediation with artificial intelligence, which is a kind of lens by which we are looking through the world. So it was an amazing presentation of my friend, Dr. Wallace Gishun, and I'm very happy to talk after him. And I'll try to make his words the platform to start presenting here to all of you. What you can see, I'll just control my time here with my watch. Yes. Okay. Okay. This picture you can see, it's a painting from an American artist called Edward Hopper. And it's the cover of one book that I published based on my master, Artificial Intelligence and Critical Thinking. And it's a man in a small city in the United States, but like during the 930s or 940s last century, looking to the landscape and checking, oh my goodness, industrial revolution is bringing a lot of transformation in my city, in my own work. Yeah, according to my interpretation, he's looking to the horizon, to the window of his office, and maybe asking, what's going to be of my work? What is it going? Sorry, what is it going to happen with my work? So I choose this painting for the cover of the book because I think we are like this gentleman here right now with artificial intelligence. It's a very important technology that came from the development of the human technique to deal with the world, but at the same time it's making a huge impact, and it's making an impact in the way we see the world, in the way we learn, we read the world. So it's very important to bridge AI with media and information literacy. So I'll try to bring a little bit of my background in the next 30 minutes. I bring some concepts of ethics and sustainability to address when we talk about AI, what is AI and why we talk about ethics and sustainability. I'll try to bring the algorithms as mediation and integrity of the impacts of our algorithm in mediation and the integrity of information, the ethics of AI, and by the end, a systemic and comprehensive approach, including media and information literacy, not only for the traditional media like radio, TV, newspaper, which is very important. They are very used in Brazil, in South America, where I come from, but also in Africa, I'm sure. I've been several times to your continent, and once I've been to Nigeria, to Abuja. It was amazing. More than 10 years ago. I'm happy to be in Nigeria virtually, even virtually now. I have a lot of friends there. So I'll try to make this kind of narrative during the next minutes, bridging some concepts and also some realities from Latin America and Africa. So you can download this book for free in this link. I'm researching now AI and governance in education as a PhD student for the Autonomous University of Barcelona. But this is my master thesis that I transform. I changed some things, the language, and became this book with artificial intelligence and critical thinking. Researching this, I'm absolutely sure that critical thinking is the key word for us to understand the world. And I was watching all the speakers, starting with Prosi, and all of them. Prosi is my friend as well. I'm very happy to be with Prosi here as well. And I'm very see that critical thinking is a word that came through all the presentations. And I think critical thinking is a key word for this conference. I'm journalist. I've been working in television in Brazil, but I'm also a practitioner and I research on media and information literacy for more than 25 years. I started with blogs and after an internship in BBC in London, I came back to Brazil and I started to work with these fields of education and communication, presenting radio shows, TV shows, writing, but also as a teacher, as a professor. And for the last 10 years, I've been working worldwide in this organization that you can see. So International Council for Media Literacy in the US, I'm the board member, EAVI in Europe, which is the European Association for the Viewers' Interest, based in Brussels. UNESCO, I'm consultant for MIL for UNESCO in Montevideo, Uruguay, and also in France, in Paris, France. DCN Global, which is European American organization. Impact is something really amazing. It's a brand new project developed by Professor Joy Alagaran in the Philippines that brings MIL in a caravan, in a bus that comes all the island, developing workshops on media and information literacy through the Philippines. It's a really amazing initiative. And also some initiatives in Brazil as well. Sorry. Can you mute your... Sorry. Yeah. So this is my background. It's important to say where I come from because artificial intelligence and media and information literacy are both multidimensional fields, multidisciplinary fields. So it depends where you come from to approach it. You have a different approach. Yeah. So my approach is from journalism and from education. Okay. Nowadays, I present this TV show in Canal Futura. It's a TV channel in Brazil about media literacy. This radio Band News FM, it's a program that I have on this radio about news literacy. We try to explain the main important news of the week for the audience. And this magazine, I'm a columnist nowadays. So Zeitgeist, this German word that means spirit of the time, is the organization I run in Brazil. So we do research, project development, teachers training, and advocacy with the Brazilian and Latin American governments. We work with media, schools, NGOs, university, private sector, government. We have this lab where we work with elder people, with youngsters, promoting debates, research, and MIL workshops. This is in Colombia, in Bogota, in Colombia, a workshop with a public school where the students prototype how to tackle disinformation in their own districts where they live. So they work with the framework of the Mil Cities framework of UNESCO, which is a framework that I helped UNESCO to develop, and I wrote the guideline about how do you involve all the equipments, the social equipments of the city to tackle this information. And it was very amazing to listen to a librarian today, because libraries are very important in the media and information literacy ecosystem. And on this workshop in Colombia, we work with librarians, students, and professors to develop prototypes of new cities. Here is it in a private school in Brazil, developing fact-checking for the students. And those are some other projects that we do together here. So it's important to see that digital, I brought this image to open my speech, because digital is nothing new anymore. We used to say that digital is new. Actually, not even artificial intelligence is new. The first research we have on artificial intelligence was about 1947, a more conceptual research, but then it starts to develop by the end of the 60s, but with no digital data. It didn't develop very well, so it was frozen for a while. We called it AI winter for a while, and then by 15 years ago, with a lot of digital data that we produced using the internet, the systems, the AI systems started to develop faster. So digital is still with us since the 50s. So I put this image of the man landing in the moon in 1969, where digital was there already. So we need to understand that digital, we cannot use the word new to digital anymore. At the same time, technology is not only digital. It came from the pen to AI, always attacking the human technique. So it's important to understand, to put in the history line, that we are developing technology all the time. Ubuntu in Africa is an amazing technology of working together. So AI is one step of developing technology based on digital technology, but not only with this. So how can we think about AI and ethics nowadays? So taking a more theoretical approach, ethics is the philosophical study of morality, a rational examination into the moral beliefs and practices. Yes, according to UNESCO, and this is UNESCO starts to develop a lot of documents about ethics in artificial intelligence. Ethics of science and technology provides principle and frameworks around innovation and to respect the human dignity, freedom, and rights. So we are talking about AI a lot nowadays. And when we talk about media and information literacy, as Wallace stated before, we are talking about ethics. How us as human beings, we related to the means, the communication means, with ethic, with an ethical approach, with a conscious approach, and respecting dignity, freedom, and human rights as a producer and as a consumer of information. So when we talk about AI, the nations and the institutions are starting to develop principles and frameworks based on ethics to rule AI. This is very important, and this is the point I'm researching right now in Spain on my PhD. At the same time, we have another aspect that we need to consider when we bridge AI to media and information literacy, which is sustainability. What can we understand by sustainability? So sustainability is not only about environmental protection, but also about education, culture, ethics. So for UNESCO, education for sustainable development, which is a concept that UNESCO created, empowers people to change the way they live and they create towards a sustainable future. So it's important for us to have the meaning of sustainability, something wider than only the environmental aspect, but also how can we live sustainability if we relate to a sustainable economic life, well-being life, a life full of well-being. So media is all around our daily basis, living, work, leisuring, playing. We need to address ethics and sustainability as two strong concepts in our lives. And the way of doing that, I'm really sure one of the main ways of doing that is through MIL, media and information literacy practices and projects and, for God's sake, public policies that the countries needs to invest in. So why should AI be a topic of global understanding? This is very important. We are talking about AI. You should say, oh, AI is a thing for only professional from technology, or AI should be a topic only for who are developing systems, but not like MIL, like media and information literacy, AI needs to be a topic for everyone because it impacts the society in its role. Okay, so bringing what is AI for us to a more comprehensive perception. This gentleman, it's a Persian mathematician called Al-Kazimi. And if you read the name really fast, you're going to recognize that Al-Kazimi is almost the word for algorithm. So he created the word algorithm thousands of years ago in the Persia Empire to develop a list of duties, of tasks that you need to do in mathematical systems. So this defines what AI is in certain way. When you make a prompt, when you ask something for AI, or when you use an AI system, AI starts to accomplish a list of tasks, recognizing your request to thousands of millions of data around the internet as a model of a mathematical model of probability, working with patterns. So AI is a mathematical model of probability. It works with patterns. It will take your research, your request, go around all the data the system was trained and compare to other patterns and give you a pattern using pre-existent data. Yeah, so it's very important that for us to have a very grounded conception of AI. It's always like this. Doesn't matter what's the aim of that system. Can be a predictive AI, can be an agentic AI, there are several families of AI, but all of them work at the same basis as a system of probability, recognizing patterns. Yeah. Why is it so important for everyone to know about AI? So if you see, I put the word general purpose technology here in this slide. AI is considered by several researchers as a general purpose technology. What does it mean? It means that we will impact education, society, economy, politics, communication, all aspects of the life. The same researchers put the steam machine, for example, as a general purpose technology. So we must follow this, thinking AI is not only one more technology. Of course, it's part of the human technique evolution, developing. It's not something that came out of the blue. No. But at the same time, it's a technology that impacts systemic everything. It's not just a technology that will have a really reduced or very restricted impact. It's a general purpose technology with huge impact. So this is how AI works. Actually, this is a model of deep learning, which is a technique of AI. You have the red dots. The red dots it's our input. Yes, is our prompt. We prompt where the box where we write our request. Yeah, and the blue dots are the output of the system. This is what AI gives us. And these layers we call neurons, artificial neurons. Each layer has one weight, one task to do. And it's going to come up to 30 to 40 layers in fractions of seconds to give us the answer. This is basically what we call the opacity of AI. We don't see generally what's happening in this system, but with MIL and with an accountable AI, we are going to be able to watch what are the weights that this system is considering. So we talk about generative AI, which is the trendy and hypey. I'm trying to avoid the hypey, avoid the trendy. I'm trying to focus on what it is. But generative AI is just this small dot. Yeah, artificial intelligence is the field. You have machine learning, which is a methodology, it's a method of the field. Deep learning is a sub-technique of machine learning. And within deep learning, you have generative AI. So there are full of families of AI. We are interacting with AI in the social media, in Google, in internet banking, of course, in chatbots like ChatGPT. We are interacting in Google and other search engines. So AI is spread around different families and different techniques underneath the same umbrella. Okay, this is just in terms of marketing enterprise. Look, this is a quick look of all the tools that you have that's going to promote different things through AI. Only in business and enterprise, yeah? But all media and information literacy started with this technology, radio. When radio started to impact our lives and is still impacting. I work for radio, so it's still alive. Education start to create a kind of reaction. How can I deal with mass media that's starting to grow? Yes, there was a strange box in the middle of the living room by the 20s, a big box, yeah, by that time. And now there is a AI in the middle of some rooms, a system that, like Alexa, that can work on demand for us, a virtual assistant, we call, yeah? And there is no way to run away of AI. So the facial recognition in cameras, always connected to AI systems. So the ethical impact is there as well. Look, this is the graphic of conceptualizing AI as a general proposed technology. This is the site. So steam engine, electricity, computers, semiconductors, internet, and artificial intelligence. Since 1698 until nowadays, you have technology that changed the structure, the infrastructure of all fields of living. And this is what GPT is, general purpose technology, okay? So how does AI system learn? This word is very tricky. Actually, it's not very learned. I brought this image of this French artist that says, oh, this is not a pipe. This is an image of a pipe. And so this is how AI works. It connects a word to an image. My father used to smoke pipe. I recognize a pipe. I learn what a pipe is by the smell of the smoke. AI doesn't smell. AI systems don't have any kind of experience itself. It just learn connecting words to images. And we need to train the systems with a lot of data. Yeah. Image, what do you see here? It's a Lego, but it's also the Mona Lisa. So how does AI recognize it? It put points into the format of into the shape of the face of the Mona Lisa. And if you don't train it very well, you can ask for a Mona Lisa and bring this Lego for you. But actually what is Lego is a Mona Lisa as well. So it's very hard to think that we're going to have so accurate AI if you don't train it with very good data. And if you don't understand that it's a system that is very limited in terms of learning. I don't think learning is the right word for AI. Yeah. We have emotional AI, of course, but it's not related to emotion itself. Emotional AI it mocks some emotion for you to recognize with if you use some words or some facial expression. The chatbot can recognize you are sad, you are insecure, but it's not emotion. It's faking, it's mocking emotion. Yeah. So AI, as the TV and the radio was in the past, AI is a new mediation for us nowadays. Yes, we brought this system of mass media. It was really easy to understand what was mediation. Yes, you have a TV station in the audience. Yeah, you have critics on TV, a lot of critics on TV. But now we have this. We are producing, we are consuming, information at the same time, but in between, who is mediating and moderating the cross data? An AI system. So AI is mediating all the processes in the digital world. This is why MIL, as a bunch of skills we develop to learn, to understand, and to participate into the society, must consider AI as one new mediation and create a own framework of MIL on AI. UNESCO has one, and there are several other ones popping up around the world. Bruno Latour is a very important thinker about environment, but also about AI. He used to say that we never considered the objects in the Western world as part of the communication system. And now we need to consider. We need to consider that we have a very different and very specific and peculiar mediation, which is AI, that interact with us and learn with our data, with our behavior. Learn is not the right word, but it's the only one I can use here. So I will skip some things. AI brought us already since the first beginning, and still brings us a lot of ethical impacts for the society. Disinformation, of course, if disinformation and misinformation is the core system of MIL, AI is cheap to produce, to distribute, to target and to distribute this information, and also deepfakes, which are video and manipulated video and photos with AI. Privacy, AI uses our data to do everything. What about the privacy of our sensitive data? AI is not neutral. No technology is neutral. So the algorithms, they have bias. It can come to a discrimination. It can forward us to discrimination and even racial issues. So representation, a diverse AI is very important. Of course, there's an environmental impact and impact on employment. So what MIL is connected is to transparency, to a transparent and accountable AI. We need to make AI transparent and accountable, and to address specific skills through MIL for us to deal with AI. So AI impacts on freedom of expression, access to information, cultural and political participation, and privacy. Just to take the communication aspect of ethical impact. I just put it here, the communication aspect of AI impact in society. So deepfakes, I will skip this a little bit. Listen, this is from the Stanford Internet Laboratory. To generate a fake news, AI generates with zero cost. You can distribute with cost zero in social media. You can really use low cost to take statistic and target audience to a piece of this information. You can clone voice. You can generate images. You can generate video and generate text almost for free. Yeah. This is the environmental impacts. We're using a lot of water and a lot of energy to run the data centers, and it's imbalanced around the world. So America, Africa, we have the most important natural resources. All the world is looking to us to take these resources to feed the AI data center. So there's a geopolitical impact also. I will skip a little bit. What I think it's important to wrap up all this lecture is that we need a multi-stakeholder approach to mitigate the impacts of AI in our lives. So what does it mean? It means that media and information literacy is a very important part of this, but should not be the only one. We need to have regulation. We need to have a lot of different other initiatives to have a more ethical relation with AI systems. Yeah. So performing authorship and also the license of the text, the image that AI is using is a huge problem nowadays. AI system doesn't create anything. It use things that are already created by someone. So what about the license of this image, these texts, these videos? Yeah. So authorship is a very controversial term for AI because there is no authorship, one authorship with AI. It's a collective authorship. Yeah. I'll skip here. So MIL, this is the UNESCO definition, and I think this is the original UNESCO definition. I think we need to, and UNESCO is already doing this, putting AI as a new mediation within this definition to become all the citizen independent learners and critical thinkers. Yeah. In terms of legislation, this pyramid is the pyramid of the United Kingdom used for the AI Act. Is the pyramid that the very first one pyramid of ethical impact. Listen, it's very controversial some aspects, but if you look to the article number 5, an acceptable risk for the society, you have social scoring, facial recognition that it's using all around, dark pattern AI and manipulation. So the article number 5 was the more controversial, and still it is, because it gives us a lot of benefits, but at the same time, facial recognition, there is something more particular and more personal than your face to be filed by an AI system. So we need to think about it. I'm coming to an end. There are some free curriculums available online that makes this bridge, harnessing AI to bridge to media literacy, media and information literacy. So UNESCO curriculum, I participated, and Mr. Wallace Ejishun also, to create this curriculum. And you have AlphaMed curriculum. They are both for download for free for training teachers, training public servants, because it's very important. It's very important to know that AI doesn't feel, AI has no conscience, no opinion of its own, and we need to keep it ethical, creative, and understand what AI means and how it works for the sake of our own perception of the world. I will skip this. Some final points. I will not read. I passed through almost all of this. This is important because this is the Gartner hype cycle of technology. So if you take a look of generative AI, it's coming down now. And it's coming down because two things. First of one, lack of natural resources to implement more data centers. And the second thing is that quality of data. We are starting to use data that's already been used before, or synthetic data, to train our models. And it's bringing more poor results. So this is AI generative. If you look to this graphic, it's coming down now. The ChatGPT 5 was a big disappointment for everyone. It was a deception. So we need more structure to raise more AI. So those are my contacts. You can follow me on social media. I put my TV shows there, my researches, my classes, and all things around the thing I research, my research for UNESCO and everything. So it was a very amazing pleasure to be with you. I hope I kept my presentation in 30 minutes. I think I've done it, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alex Labuti Sayad. Honestly, it was very insightful for me. I don't know about the other participants. And then we followed up keenly on discussions, the conversation about the role of AI, the ethical use of AI in implementing media and information literacy. And I think this is even a concern is more of a concern for our students in tertiary institutions, undergraduates precisely, that are so exposed to the use of AI, and we believe that most of these students do not really subscribe to the ethical use of AI, which of course affects the MIL that we're talking about, because with MIL, a person should be able to know how to create, how to generate, and how to use information and even share information to other people. So your lecture has really given us insight into that, and we hope to call you again to take questions much later. Thank you very much, Mr. Alex.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, so before then, the network didn't allow me to introduce you before you started off. So I'll just give a little brief of Mr. Alex to do justice. Yes, to do justice to his profile. Yes, of course. Mr. Alexandre Lavochi Sayad is a journalist, an educator, and an author. He holds a master's degree in artificial intelligence and ethics from PUC-SP Brazil, and a specialization in digital business from the University of California, Berkeley. He is currently pursuing a PhD in lifelong learning policies and AI at the Autonomous University of Barcelona, UAB, Spain. Sayad is the director of Zeitgeist, an innovation hub for education, culture, and media that develops global projects for corporations, governments, and the education sector. He also serves as a media literacy consultant for UNESCO. Interesting. Both at its headquarters in Paris, France, and its regional office in Montevideo, Uruguay. So he's a television model, of course, he's an expert. There's a program, Idade Media, on Canal Futura, which is a part of, and currently that program is in its 5th season. And he's been very, he has had more impact in that area. He began his career as an education reporter, including a project with the BBC in the mainstream media. He has contributed to Polha DS Follow, served as a columnist for O Estado de Espalo, and was a presenter at Band News FM. So he later transitioned to the education sector, co-founding and directing Cidade Escola Aprendiz, an award-winning initiative with Gilberto Dimenstein. For over 2 decades, he has worked as a researcher and policy consultant on media literacy and strategies to combat disinformation. Interesting. So to wrap it up, Sayad has also consulted on the creation of institutes, foundations, and corporate advisory boards, which includes the Claro Institute. So internationally, he has served for 5 years as chair of UNESCO's Media and Information Literacy Alliance. So this is Mr. Alexandre Lavochi Sayad, and we're happy to have him share insights with us on MIL using the artificial intelligence approach, because he's an expert. Thank you very much for the wonderful insight. We appreciate you, sir.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be in Nigeria.
Yes, thank you, sir. So we are now going to proceed to the 4th speaker, the very person who has called us to come here today, who has organized this wonderful conference, the MILAB co-founder, founder and the chair of this very wonderful body. She is no other person but Ms. Kuluwani Victoria Olujobi, a young and talented, very purpose-driven individual whom we're happy to have with us to share our own perspective on media and information literacy, particularly from an angle where she has taken up with the foresight and the motivation she has had over the years. So Ms. Toluwani Victoria Olujobi, is going to be speaking on intercultural dialogue and critical thinking. That is, engage young people in intercultural dialogue and critical thinking. So you have the floor, Ma. I'll do justice to your profile soon after your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bella.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Oh, you've been doing a wonderful job so far, and I really appreciate that. I also want to appreciate the speakers in person of Ms. Prosy for your wonderful keynote address. I will appreciate Mr. Wallens for that insightful and eye-opening discussion on how we could actually reach these marginalized communities with MIL. And the question he asked was really thought-provoking. Do we need to reach these people and integrate them with MIL, or do we leave them pure the way they are? And I will also appreciate Mr. Juha from Finland, who have done a wonderful job allowing us to know more about how the library can actually reach out to these marginalized communities, how the library is used to promote MIL. I'm very particular about this topic because I myself am a library professional, and it's something that I've always been my interest to see how MIL can be integrated with the library and how library could promote MIL. And I'm very happy to have learned from you because I did learn from you. And I'm also grateful to Mr. Alex for always being available. And despite his tight schedule, yeah, he was here for our first international conference. It's wonderful having you speak to us again today. And I'm always learning from you from the AI perspective. It's been a wonderful journey so far. So I would really appreciate everyone. And I want to say thank you to all the participants who have been on the call since we started this meeting. I say thank you very much.
Thank you, Victoria, for your words, and it's a pleasure.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
Thank you. So I'll be talking about youth voices in MIL, engaging young people in intercultural dialogue and critical thinking. And when we are talking about youth, we are going to be talking about young people from the age of 18 to 35. That's the standard definition. But I would say it's actually much younger than that. I would say, as a person, I believe that youths are from being a teenagers basically from 13 years and down to 40, 45 are very much in this conversation, are the people which this particular conversation is focused towards. And just a brief profile about myself. My name is Toluwanemi Victoria Olujobi. I'm a passionate MIL advocate, the founder of Media and Information Literacy among young professionals. MILAP, and MILAP celebrated its second year anniversary on the 17th of August this month. So what we focus on in MILAP is we focus on organizing workshops, campaigns, intercultural forums, and what we have done so far is we've been able to train over 1,500 professionals through our conferences, through our advocate approach, and also we focus a lot on reaching the youths, and that is why we've established 5 clubs in 5 countries which are focused on MIL, and these clubs are basically university-based clubs, and then we have some in some secondary school also. So these clubs are just focused on making sure that the young people get involved with MIs. And worthy of note is in the year 2023, I was awarded as one of the top 10 distinguished undergraduate students at the University of asking a question: what is media and information literacy? I do understand that there are some students that are with us and they may not understand the key concept of what media and information literacy is all about. And they've been hearing MIL. They could have been like me. When I was an undergraduate, I did write an article on fake news, but I never got to even understand the concept of MIA. I never even knew that MIA was a concept until I started to get involved with some engagements, until a workshop came up and I was able to learn the key aspects of MIL. So what is MIL? MIL, as defined by UNESCO, is a collection of fundamental skills for tackling problems of the 21st century, such as the spread of fake news, misinformation, and the erosion of public confidence in media, and technological advancements like artificial intelligence. So that's what MIL really stands for. MIL stands for tackling these issues that it revolves around fake news, that revolves around misinformation, and it revolves around public confidence in media. Because we could agree with me that recently there have been a lot of debates around what media sources are actually valid, and we could actually focus on. For us in Nigeria during our elections, sometimes it's difficult to actually know what media sources, especially for the online media, what sources you could actually depend on, because you'd see different media coming up with different news based on their bias, based on favoritism, based on one candidate or the other. They prefer one candidate to the other. Out. So these are the things that MIL looks to tackle. MIL looks to empower participation in democratic life, intercultural dialogue like the one we're having here, what we're having from Uganda, from Brazil, from Finland, from Nigeria. Everyone just discussing different topic, looking ahead to how we could actually make the world a more digital responsible place for everybody in the society, and making media readily available and accessible to all members of the society. So the emphasis of media and information literacy, just as Mr. Alex has said, is critical thinking. Critical thinking and the ethical use of information. So we're looking at how this information, how can it be ethically used, sources of information, how these sources are being passed, are they generated, and what are the impacts they have in our society? Because it's not just all about generating information, it's not all about sourcing for information, it's not even just about disseminating information, but it's about checking the validity of this information that is being spread across. So, and I'll be looking briefly at the 5 laws of MIL as provided by UNESCO. I'll turn I don't know.
Okay, Ms. Victoria, what with you?
Can we hear me?
Yes, what with you? Yes, you're trying to share a screen.
Okay, so now I'll be going straight to the. Yes, my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen now.
All right, thank you. So now we're going straight to the laws of MIL. We have the 5 laws of MIL, and the first law, it says it talks about information communication. Basically, it is looking at access to this information and critical civic engagements. And then the second law is talking about the creation of information as a message. They must empower access, and MIL is for all. So MIL is not just limited, and that is why we're having this conversation about marginalized communities. It's not just for the rural people or for the urban people or for the very developed centers, but it's for everyone. MIL comes in the smallest to do advocacies in rural communities, because we do that a lot in MILAP. We discover that MIL goes as far back as even the family. Yes, because you discover that there's a lot of misinformation, when it comes to spreading of rumors. And when rumors are being spread, it could lead to even communal conflict, as we have seen here in Nigeria, where rumors regarding a particular tribe led to an intertribal war, and the intertribal war left hundreds of people homeless, and also some people lost their lives to that particular war, and it was just caused by a rumor. So MIL is for all, irrespective of where they are, irrespective of where they stay, irrespective of their educational qualification or the careers in which they practice. Now, the third law says MIL, it's all about independence of being biased. MIL looks into information independence. That's spreading information without necessary bias or an undertone to that information, or trying to push a particular narrative. The fourth law talks about every citizen wants to know and understand new information, and everyone has the right to this information. It talks about the right to information. In Africa, we've seen cases where there's the telecommunication shuts down just because there's a right somewhere, or the people of the society are protesting against something in particular, and then there's a telecommunication shuts down. So these are issues that MIL seeks to look into, seeks to solve, and these are issues that are affecting our society. And as youths, we are the one at the forefront of media. We are the ones that use these modern technologies the most. We need to actually raise our voice, and I don't mean shout, but advocate, and see how MIL could be integrated in every aspect of our societies. And the fifth law talks about media and information literacy is not just acquired once; it's a lifelong learning process. Last year I was part of the DCN training, and you just have to keep learning. You have to keep learning. Even I do learn from the articles published by UNESCO. I do go to the website, and you just have to keep learning, because you never know it all. And we are here again just because we want to learn. We've learned from about 3-4 speakers now, and so we need to keep learning. It's a lifelong learning process. It's continuous in nature. So it's not just something. It's not just a knowledge that is acquired at once. And that to make me to quickly divert into something I'll be talking about later on, and is the fact that MIL needs to now be integrated into curriculum. It has to move away from just advocacy, just from a concept. Then we need to integrate it in it from the nursery school level down to the primary school level, to the secondary school level, and to the tertiary level. Students have to be taught, and they have to possess media and information literacy skills. Why youth voices matter as of media, but also powerful creators who shape narrative and influence society. Now, if you're looking at one of the things we are looking at even in the academia is how social media affects the academic performance of university students. And we've discovered that social media really do affect their life, not just their academic performance now, but even their life as a whole. It affects the opinion, it affects what they believe in, it affects the way they do their things, it affects
Ms. Victoria, can you hear me? I think we lost her there. Victoria, can you hear me, please? And okay, how about other participants? Can you hear me?
reports.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I think we have her back. Victoria, are you back?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, yes, okay. I think we lost connection there, but you're back. What would you?
All right. So why did you hear me too? Because I wasn't aware that my connection was lost already.
No, just about 10 seconds of disconnection.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. So I was saying why youth voices matter. Youth voices matter according to UNICEF U reports engages around 38 million youths across the world in more than 100 countries. And this report shows that one of the third of young people in 30 countries have experienced cyberbullying. So cyberbullying is an integral part of MIL, which we see happening every time. We see body shaming, we see people just coming up and saying, oh, this and this and this. And these are things that young people face while using the media platforms. Now, why do young people voices matter? Because we need to involve everyone in the learning process. We need to involve everyone to understand this is what MIL stands for. It fosters active participation. And I could say this for once, integrating MIL and allowing youth to be at the forefront of MIL fosters active participation. In Milap, we currently have about 111 members who are actively engaging in ensuring they promote MIL. And this is achieved, we are all youths in this movement. And this is achieved because we come together as youths and we are encouraged to do this. So it fosters active participation and it really takes off time that would have been used to spread fake news. I just want you to imagine 119 people every day. And you see the after effect because those people have families and those families have friends and those friends have a community and the widespread of could ensure. And then bringing young people into MIL allows them to actually focus their energy into something meaningful, into something that will encourage civic engagements, and into something that will encourage social and intercultural dialogues. It builds confidence. MIL allows you to be able to engage meaningfully and it builds confidence in younger people. It promotes open reflection and collaboration back and it developed a sense of community. For one thing we aim to achieve in Milab is a sense of community. So what now I'm going to be moving to the next slide. Please, am I still on so that I'll continue? Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. We can hear you loud and clear.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Intercultural dialogue. When young people engage across the board, they build bridges and not wall. One of MI's greatest strengths is fostering in intercultural dialogue. It helps to identify the challenge, the bias in media, and at the same time, it allows young people from different backgrounds to connect, collaborate, and respect differences. Youth engagement in cross-border debates, policy dialogues, leadership labs reduce stereotypes and build empathy. And that is what MIL is looking into to reduce stereotypes. We looked at Mr. Wallen's presentation and how do we integrate MIL into these marginalized communities, these communities that are outside the reach, these communities that are not even having access to these big medias that we are familiar with. So MIL helps to reduce the stereotype and to build empathy. Now we're looking at MIL and critical thinking, and we say, what does critical thinking allows us? It allows encourage youth to question and not to consume. So it's not just all about consuming what the media says or consuming a particular information, but then it builds engagement. It helps to fact check and compare sources. It helps us to fact check our information and help us to compare the sources of this information. It helps to recognize propaganda, fake news, and bias. You'll be able to know, oh, this is the bias, this is a fake news, this is a misinformation that is trying to be pushed out here. And it helps you to be active citizens and peace builders. I did make mention of how a room run did affect a community regularly, a community negatively rather. And so when we integrate MRL, youths are peace builders and they encourage and facilitate peace building. And we're going to move straight into strategies for engagement, because now we're now going to go into, okay, how do youths now come into this? Youths, the first thing is for us to look at what are the goals and objectives of MIL, which we've earlier discussed, and then we recruit more members. We tell more people about MIL. We tell more people how to engage meaningfully in their digital space. We tell people that there is something that is known as digital footprints that must be protected. And then we engage in interactive discussions and debates. We go into communities, we interact with people in the various communities, we also engage in debates, we collaborate, we partner with different organizations, we partner with different people who are reputable in MIL, and we also foster community engagements. We go into seminars and workshops. These are things and strategies that we can employ to actually reach the unreached. Then practical youth activities, things that we could use and to help the youth to be part of MIL. These are the things we could integrate. This is global MIL challenge. We could always have a challenge. There's always a TikTok challenge about one thing or the other. So we could do an MIL challenge also, which will be tailored towards ensuring that people are becoming more media literate, more information literate, more digital literate, and organizing webinars, conferences, games, and workshops, intercultural debates across different regions, different places, fact checking, empathic listener. We could also do teen checkathon, which involves the use of teen and creating debunks on TikTok, on Reels, on IGs, and also the involvement of youth in the UNESCO Youth Hackathons and MIL Week. So it's very important for us to key into these initiatives. It's very important for us to take it back to our grassroots. It's very important for us as youth not to just leave it on social media, but now take it to our various communities, take it to our various institutions, take it to our various departments, our faculties, our families, and ensuring that everyone is becoming information literate. Everyone gains access to only the right kind of information, and everyone is able to access media without bias. And the measuring outcome, how to measure our outcomes as youth, as individuals who want to engage youth. How do we measure our outcomes? We measure our outcomes through post and pre-MIL quizzes, through intercultural competence. We just look at, how is your competence like this, or what have you learned so far from this particular MIL conference you attended? And those are things that we could use to be able to gain knowledge on what the youth have learned so far. We look at their behavior. We look at youth produced fact checks, debates, counter speech posts, their platform analytics. We look at what they do, what they post, and how they relate. This particular picture is a picture of MILAB at a particular community outreach for students. And these students, we could see two people on MILAB's t-shirts. They are both teenagers. And I intentionally put this picture here. They are teenagers who are working with MILAB to promote MILAB to their mates. And this is what MIL does. MIL helps to reintegrate people, and it helps to change their mindset away from, oh, I'm just a teenager and I could just use my social media platform or my time or my energy in just doing free things and just doing whatever I like, into now meaningful community engagements. Then dialogues with local officials, and also it's exposed hate speech, cyberbullying, and help seeking. Such initiatives helps young people to be able to seek help and to be able to say, oh, this is what I've passed through, this is what I'm facing from using my social media platform. Some have become victims of really terrible things, and this is because they do not have knowledge of MIL. This is because they do not see a young face trying to address them. But when youths are involved with MIL, you'll be able to say, oh, I'm also young like you. This is what you are supposed to be doing on your media space. And this is how you could handle some of the cyber issues that you are passing through. Now I go straight to the recommendations for schools, NGOs, and government. It is important to integrate MIL across subjects with debate, storytelling, and verification tasks. Fund youth-led media and peer education network, and adopt youth polling for feedbacks, loops, and educational and safety policy. Partner in Global MIL Week and regional peace initiatives. On my slide, you could see the recommendations, and they are taken from different sources, from UNESCO MIL policy guidance, from U reports, from UNESCO and AU. It's important for us to look into this particular recommendations, because these are the recommendations that will help young people to be able to in being integrated more into MIL dialogues, and into fostering and promoting media and information literacy in their societies. All right, so this is a list of references of different sources that you could use to learn more about MIL, about youth participation, about what youth have been doing so far in the MIL space, and how youth can participate better in the MIL space. So thank you very much for having me speak, and that is all for my presentation for now. Thank you very much for listening. I'm going to stop my presentation now.
Thank you very much, Ms. Victoria. It's been very interesting with you in the session, especially that you have been able to use one stone to kill multiple birds. That is how I would describe what you have just done. And also your prowess in wrapping up so quickly, being so summarized yet so precise and head on with your delivery. I believe that our audience, they are thrilled by your presentation, just like they were of the previous ones from our speakers. Thank you very much, Ms. Victoria, for the wonderful delivery.
Thank you, Vina.
Okay, so before we move on to questions and answers, it's important that we quickly give a little bio of the person who has just spoken to us, our very own Victoria Olujobi. So for our audience, I do hope that we have lots of questions from our speakers, from the presentations by our speakers. We are going to get to that now. So you can ask your questions from the various presentations and the answers will be provided. And then we proceed to concluding on the session. So if you have not been able to put your questions well, please put them together properly as we're going to get to that. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so a little brief about Toluwanimi Victoria Olujobi, who has just spoken to us on engaging young people in intercultural dialogue and critical thinking. So Toluwanimi Victoria for Media and Information Literacy, MIL, and the founder of the Media and Information Literacy among Young Professionals, as we already know. An initiative equipping youth with skills to critically access, evaluate, and create information in an ethical and responsible manner. She has been able to do this through workshops, campaigns, and intercultural forums, where she has trained over 1,500 young professionals in fact-checking, digital safety, and civic engagement. As a UNESCO MIL Alliance member, she actively promotes inclusive, Africa-focused MIL solutions that combat misinformation and foster informed, resilient communities. Toluwanimi's work bridges research, community impact, and youth empowerment, making her a strong voice and advocate for the next generation of digital citizens. Thank you very much for your time here, dear participants. We're now going to move on to questions and answers. So I believe we already have our questions ready. We're going to take questions. We're going to be very brief about it. 15 to 20 minutes, please, for this session. So the floor is open. Let's take questions from our audience, our participants, please. You can indicate by a raise of hands, and then we give you the room to speak to us. So in doing that, please endeavor to introduce yourself, where you are connecting from, and then your question. You can direct your questions to our speakers, and then we'll take it up from there. So I'm ready to create your questions, please. Hello. Well, while we are waiting to take questions from our participants, I'd like to share a little insight, to add more to what our presenters have brought to us. And I'm going to make this very simple and summarized for our audiences who are unable to stick to the presentations all through because of network challenges and other challenges. So media and information literacy, just like Ms. Victoria had just told us, is more like a movement. Is more like a movement that is geared towards bringing people of the world, global citizens, out of the shackles of ignorance, the shackles of misinformation, the shackles of disinformation, the shackles of the widespread of fake news, which is harmful to our society. It's harmful to what we hold dear. It is harmful to our democracy. It is harmful to how we take in knowledge. And of course, one without skills, the skills to properly create, to properly access, to properly manage, to properly disseminate and share information, is actually, such a person is considered to be among the target groups for this campaign and this movement, which is championed by UNESCO. And here in Nigeria, we have bodies like MILA to fight and to tackle and combat this menace, which has eaten deep into our societies. So again, let's take questions from you. The floor is still open. Please unmute yourself and talk to us. Mr. Juha Maninen, you seem to have a question. Am I correct?
Yes, thank you. I'd actually like to hear briefly how many library schools there are in Nigeria.
Okay, Ms. Victoria. Victoria.
All right, thank you for that question. I think Mrs. Shade will be more appropriate to answer the question. She has been on. She's National Library of Nigeria, FCT chapter president, Mrs. Folashade Adepoju. She has been on the call, so she'll be more appropriate to answer the question.
It's good to know we have her here.
Okay, so thank you. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Joan, for asking the question, and thank you, Victoria, for putting this conference together. Well done. You are doing well, and I'm proud of you. Bilal, thank you for moderating this session. Okay, the last time I know we have 325 library schools in the universities. For the College of Education, I don't have the instance. I don't have the current number, and for the polytechnics and monotechnics, I cannot say. But for the universities, currently we have 365. Thank you.
Thank you for that response, ma'am. We appreciate you. Mr. Ajuha, I hope you got that. And we have, there are about 325 library schools in Nigeria, across Nigerian universities. So, of course, there could be additions because we have institutions like some colleges of education and polytechnics that run affiliate programs where they have library schools as well. So we have a little above that when that is added. So any more questions, please? We'll be taking your questions and the responses will be provided before we take another. Questions and answers. This is the time.
Okay, so I have a question, and I'm directing my question to Victoria. Victoria, what has been the challenges for you when you're talking about media and information literacy? Because I've seen that you have done a really, really great job. You have been on the field, you go to underserved communities, you reach out to university students. So what are the challenges you've encountered while going around? And with the advent of artificial intelligence, what are the things you've noticed among our university students? Hello, Bilal.
Yes, ma'am, I'm with you.
Hello, Bilal.
Yes, Mrs. Folashade, I'm with you, ma'am. I think she got a question and she's about to respond.
Yes, I got the question, ma.
Okay.
Is Victoria on the call?
I got the question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We can hear the both of you.
All right, ma. Thank you very much, ma, for that beautiful question. And I must confess that there have been challenges. And before I even go into the challenges, I'll have to appreciate you at every opportunity because you were the one who brought MIL to Uni Abuja. And that made me to know about MIL. And that was how I got into MIL. So I will forever appreciate you for that. And for the challenges that
seen and encountered so far is that many young people, they don't really understand the full concept of MIL. So what they do know is that, okay, yes, they know about fake news or they know about misinformation, but they don't really understand the impact it has on them as a person and the impact it has on the society at large. So these are some of the challenges I have seen in MIL, and also in advancing MIL. One of the main challenges that we have seen is as a young person advancing MIL, of course, is you see a lot of older people looking and you are like, oh, it's just this young person that is doing this, and there's no much support for the young people, except very few people like you, ma'am, who really see that, oh, I can, these young people have something to say, these young people are trying to make a difference, these young people are trying to advocate for something that is very impactful and useful in the society. So most young adults will be like, oh, what is she even doing? What are they doing? And those are some of the issues that we have seen in the societies. Even when we go for to meet stakeholders in the rural communities, they are always asking us questions like, oh, what have you brought? They need us to bring something, and sometimes to penetrate these communities with MIL, we have to incorporate things like medical outreaches, we have to incorporate empowerment, like sharing of distribution of one material or the other, because they are like, oh, what I really need is this empowerment and the rest. So that's one of the challenges that we have faced in MIL. And for the students now, to address the issues about the students.
Ms. Victoria, I don't know, it seems the network is not quite favorable.
Okay, Bilal, I think I understood. I think I got what she was trying to say. She was trying to say that when she enters community, they want something in return because they don't really understand the concept of MIL. So what they want in another sub community is, come, we will listen to you, but you are going to give us something in return, which has made her to use her resources in giving like little things, empowerment to the women in the community, just to pass the message of MIL across to them. She has to give something to get something. For her to get them to listen, she has to pay something for them. Like she shares menstrual pad for them. Program. Yes, empowerment. She gives the young girls menstrual pads and the rest, just for them to listen to the message. For the students, the network is not allowing us to hear her.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you, ma'am. And yes, we have a question here. Let me quickly take the question. It's in the chat. From Muhammad Aminu Hassan. He's asking that given that most media are produced with commercial intent, in what ways can media and information literacy contribute to the academic community? That's a question from Muhammad. I would have loved for Mr. Wallace Gichunge to respond to this question, but since he's not here, I would like that Mr. Juha Maninen would do justice to the question, please. Mr. Juha. Mr. Juha. Mr. Juha. Okay, Mr. Alex.
Yes.
Mr. Alex, please.
Yeah, can you?
Okay, please take the question. Take the question, please.
Yes, can you repeat the question just for me, please?
Okay, the question says that given that most media are produced with commercial intent, in what ways can MIL contribute to the academic community?
Yes. Yeah, we need to understand media. This is the first step of MIL. Understand how media works. And there's not only the commercial media. We have the public broadcast services, for example. We have the community media. So what can I say now is not all the media is ruled by commercial interests. So what can I say? We need to analyze the messages and the information we are receiving from media. And for that, we need to understand the interest behind who is creating that media content. In this sense, it's important to understand how that means, how that journal, the TV, the radio, keeps itself working. Are they commercial or not? If they are commercial, the commercial area is separate from the editorial area or not? Does it make the information reliable or not? What is a reliable information? What makes a reliable information? What are the aspects that makes a reliable information? Let's build up on that. So understanding media, including the media companies, the media enterprise interests, is part of MIL. So MIL is the key to understand what's behind the interest on media group, on a media group, for example, of a media group. Okay, so I hope I could answer that. I mean, you not stop consuming media because you have academic interest, but you need to understand if, despite of the fact that media is running by economical interest, can you rely on that information? Is that a reliable company? Is that a reliable means? Is that a reliable source? That's the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Alex. I hope the participant that asked that question got the reply and the response, and you are satisfied. Yes, so there's another question here. The question is, how can I be a member? You know, that the person is just joining the program. Who would take down your contact and reach out to you. There are so many ways you can become a member, and I believe we have a lot you're going to contribute when you eventually join MILAB. Okay, so there's a question here from Karimat Hamza. The question says, meanwhile, Karimat Hamza is thanking us for the insightful presentation, all the speakers. Okay, so what practical steps can I take to promote MIL among young people in my local community? And what advice would you give to help me get started? That is a question from Karimat Hamza. So, Ms. Victoria.
Yeah, I will answer that briefly.
This question is, it appears indigenous, and since MILAB is here, let MILAB do justice to this, please. You have the floor.
All right. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I believe they can hear you too.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so for this question, what are the practical steps to promote media and information literacy among young people in my local community? One of the ways I would say is through community engagements. And I would suggest to you, because you said you want to get started, I would suggest that you do reach out to me via LinkedIn, and then we could have an interaction, because we do have a group of people we work together with, a group of youths that we work together with, and we work both collectively and independently in our various communities, coming together to ensure that we promote MIL. Bilia here, the moderator, is one of those. It's currently based in a different state from where the headquarters is, but he's doing beautifully well where he is in his own state. And here we are in FCT Nigeria, in another state in Nigeria. So you could just reach out to me, and then we'll talk further on how you could start something in your community and promote MIL in your community. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the beautiful response, Victoria. So we have, I think we still have room to take more questions. There's a hand up, Abdullah Miriam. Abdullah Miriam, you have a question, right?
Yeah,
what's your
good
question?
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Where are you joining us from?
Okay, my name is Abdullah Miriam from the University of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Ankpa campus.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay.
You're welcome. Yes, we're with you. You're welcome. What's your question?
First of all, I want to thank all the participants, moderators, and speakers. Thank you. I really appreciate.
You're welcome.
My questions goes like this: to have a more enduring impact for MIL in the current dispensation of high internet use and depend on artificial intelligence. So I don't know who should be the specific target group. Is it the youth in general, or the internet users, or the in-school population? Please, can you clear me on that, please?
Oh, thank you. That's a beautiful question. Very beautiful one. Please, I would like that Mr. Alex again.
Yes.
Alex?
Yes. When you mean the target audience, it's for AI learning into an MIL. Is that what you ask? Just to clarify.
Yeah.
No, look, it's hard to find one target audience. Yeah, what's happening is that the elder people, the people who are not in school or university anymore, they need to be media and information literate as well, because they need to enjoy the life we are living, because the digital and brings a lot of facility, and they are in the same ecosystem that we are. So a true edutainment and informal education, community centers, we need to educate the elder people. At the same time, we need to take care of the youth. Yeah, and to take care of the youth and the children, we need to focus on school. So MIL needs to be part of the school curriculum from basic education. This is mandatory, I think now, in my opinion. So finally, what we can presume is that MIL is a lifelong learning process from the cradle to the grave. We need to learn during our entire life. That's the real thing. It's hard to say because it's hard to find means, but if we don't do that, we're gonna be obsolete and we're gonna be out of date in 1 week, 2 weeks. The things move fast, so we need to develop the skills to learn how to read, to analyze, to produce, to participate, to create with media during all the ages of our lives, from the youth, from the cradle, from the children until the elder people.
Thank you very much.
Was that good for you? The answer?
Yes, I'm clear on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mariam. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alex. That was a very good one from you. I believe the person who asked the question and the other participants have gained something from that response. Okay, so do we have more questions from our participants? We have just about 5 minutes to address the session. We have just about 5 minutes, please.
Yeah, I see Mr. Akobe Oluwatosin raising up his hand.
Okay, Mr. Akobe. Yes, you have the floor, please. Let's have your question.
Okay.
Yes, we are with you. Your question, please, Mr. Akobe.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, my name is Akobe Oluwatosin Daniel. I just have a question, though mine is more like a concern, but I think since we have students here, it will be beneficial to all. In this era where artificial intelligence is massively used for sometimes research, assignments, studies, we are trying to mitigate the excessive use of this tool, knowing fully well that a good number of the information provided by artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, and the rest needs to still be counter-checked. How can we help students to ensure that information received from these generative tools, AI tools, doesn't downplay the essence of this campaign, so that information that is being disseminated are actually the right kind of information that is being consumed by students and used by students, actually the right kind of information. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Akobe, for that question. Well, a question and a concern, of course. So since this borders on artificial intelligence and the ethical use of artificial intelligence to ensure or to implement media and information literacy, I think it would be fair to call on Mr. Alex again, since he's an expert in that area, to respond to that question.
Thank you. I don't want to manipulate the answers, okay? I like to answer to open to everyone. But Mr. Daniel, there are a lot of procedures that are embedded on MIL that we use to check information, even from AI. And you are really right. We have a lot of synthetic information nowadays circulating. There is a research that shows that 70% of the content on the internet is synthetic now. It's created by bots. It's changed by AI. So how can we check the information? We need to develop in our students the spirit, the skills of fact-checking, which means there are a lot of things to do, but first of all, check in more than 3 sources, different sources, the same information. Do not use the same search engine and the same AI to do all the work. Use at least 3 different sources, search engines and AI to do the work. This is one important thing. Then understand the sources of the information. Nowadays, most of the AI tools, you can ask them to show you the source, the main source of information that he's showing to you. Check that source. Is that reliable? Is that a reliable min? Or is someone who created out of the blue a page and is posting information? So we need to evaluate the sources always. And this is part of MIL, to check the reliability of information. There's another aspect. News that are very emotional or very radical, the kind of news that, for example, the war in the Middle East has just ended. This is news that takes us from the heart. And those news generally are fake. Because fake news are more emotional than rational. And so we need to start to navigate in this world of synthetic and false information, paying attention on the sources and the means where the information comes up to you. So thank you very much, Daniel. I think this is a concise response.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Alex. Please, quickly, Mr. We have Mr. Juhamaninen. He has just asked to leave us, and I would love that you share a little insight on the question that Mr. Alex has just spoken on, just a little, before you leave us, please, if you are still here. Mr. Juhamaninen, are you still here with us?
I think he left. I think he left.
Okay, now I would like that Ms. Prosi Kawala from Uganda, who was a keynote speaker, to please share more insight on that question. Thank you, Mr. Alex. You've done great justice. Just would like to hear from Ms. Prosi Kawala your perspective on that question to broaden our knowledge of the subject matter. Ms. Kawala. Ms. Kawala, can you hear me? Ms. Kawala, can you hear me, please? Okay, I think she has left also. All right. So let us wrap up the session, the question and answer session. I think we've taken a lot of questions and don't have any questions left unattended. I want to thank each and every one of you for your patience with us so far. So now we're moving on to announcements and vote of thanks. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you. Please move ahead.
Okay. So for announcements, we would like to announce that we'll be having a webinar in Sierra Leone next month. And I would love that, just as you are taking time to attend this conference, second NILAB conference, that you would also join us for the webinar, which will be in Sierra Leone next month. That is for the announcement. Yes. So now I would like to invite. Yes, you're trying to say something.
Is the webinar going to be? Is the webinar going to be live?
It's going to be live. Yes, the webinar. Yes, just like this. We're going to have the session like this.
Online or okay.
It's going to be hybrid.
Okay.
It's going to be hybrid. Can you hear me? It's going to be hybrid. So we're going to be having those on site, and it's going to be also online.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so now moving on to vote of thanks. I would like to invite Mrs. Folashade Adepoju, the Nigerian Library Association Chairman in Abuja, FCT, Nigeria, to give us a vote of thanks.
So, thank you, everyone. First, let me thank Victoria and her team for putting up this very important conference. We cannot, talking about MIL, it is what we need, especially in our country, Nigeria, currently. When you open your phone, you don't know which is the truth. When you go to social media, you don't know which is the lie. To the extent that something happened 2 weeks ago, I had to call Akobe Tosin. I saw a predatory journal online. And I have a beautiful paper that I wrote to be submitted. But I said, my mind said, no, confirm. If these people are genuine, and Tosin did his background check because I was very busy. And we found out that they are just there, sharp, as we call it in Nigeria, just to collect your paper, publish the next day. And I'm so happy that we have university students here that are listening. Please go back to your community and start preaching about MIL because we need it. Your parents need it, your children need it. So on this note, I would like to appreciate my friend, my brother, Mr. Juan from the Finnish Library. We have an unfinished business. I will come to you later. And to Mr. Alexandra, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for taking us through AI and media and information literacy. And to everyone present at this time, I appreciate you for taking your time and your resources to stay till the end of this program. Thank you. And I leave you with one word. Let us go back to our various communities and preach truths. And let us go back and remove the fakeness in our lives. So thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Bilal, the moderator. And thank you for everyone that has stayed till this period. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma. This is Solashade. We appreciate you for your kind words. I appreciate you so much. This brings us to the end of the session. I think we've exhausted.
Yeah, before we go, can we? Thank you.
Ms. Victoria, let's hear from you.
Yeah, before we go, can we just take a picture? We could open our camera so that we could take a picture. Yes.
Okay.
Everyone.
Let's open our cameras. So for those of us that may not understand what we are trying to do, please, that's where you see stop video. Okay, click on it, let the red line disappear. And there you have it, your camera is on and you can take pictures. Enable your video.
All right.
I've been able to take the picture. And thank you very much. Acknowledge the presence of
my classmates, Ramat. Yeah, thank you for joining the conference from beginning down to this moment. I appreciate your presence. And I also appreciate all our ambassadors, Pafe, Milan, and for joining, and also every other person involved in MILAB for joining. I've been seeing you, and I appreciate your patience. I also appreciate Bila. You've done a wonderful and an amazing job today moderating the session. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Alex. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for being with us till this moment. And I appreciate Mrs. Olakade also. Thank you very much, ma'am. We are always supportive of our movement and also appreciate our project coordinator for ensuring that this program goes really well. Thank you.
As students from ATB Balewa University and for campus, we had to really talk to them to join here, and they obliged. A lot of them have been with us. We equally appreciate. Yes, we are extending the appreciation and to all other participants too, from across the world. So, the session. Ms. Victoria, over to you to end the session.
So.